Hello, my name is Ayelet Erez. I'm an MD PhD physician scientist. My lab is at the Weizmann Institute of Science in Israel. And my lab focused on metabolic changes that accompany systemic diseases like cancer. And the recent ICRF funding that we received actually enabled us to study terminal end-stage metabolic phenomenon that is shared by almost 80% of cancer patients and leads to direct death of about 20% of cancer patients. And this phenomenon is called cancer cachexia. So what happens in cachexia is that there is a massive loss of fat and muscle tissue. And actually, this is the time when everybody knows that the patient has cancer. He has a problem in being independent because it's hard for him to move because of the muscle breakdown. And eventually, it also leads to depression and to death, usually because of heart failure. What's intriguing about this condition is that we have no biomarkers that tell us who is going to develop cachexia, and also that it's not responsive to any of the therapy. Even to high protein or high calorie diet, we don't get any response from the patient. And so it makes it a very frustrating and devastating condition to the patient, to the family, to the physicians. And that is why it's such a big challenge for us as researchers. So what we do in my lab is work to try to pursue our hypothesis that actually to get such a massive illness, there must be earlier markers that would tell us that this is going to happen, because it doesn't make sense to have this all happen at once. There must be some preceding events that lead to it, and maybe we can detect it in the host or in the patient as early as possible in order to have a therapeutic window to actually benefit the patient. So this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to identify these markers in the urine, in the plasma, in the stool, in every sample we can get from the patient. And then we believe that if we would be able to identify these markers very early, they might tell us what is the mechanism that is actually causing this cachexia fulminant phenotype. And maybe if we are able to identify it, we can either prevent it or alleviate these manifestations. So with the help of the ICRF, I have dedicated people in my lab that work specifically on that, on collecting patient samples, on analyzing them in a specific metabolic assays, and hopefully we would be able to also advance the field in terms of understanding the mechanism, and even in the identification of biomarker and finding therapeutic interventions.